Hi everyone, I'm Dima Tupchik from UUI Library, and today in this video I will start sharing with you the current development regarding the UUI Library in Figma. Uh, let's say what is UUI shortly. It is React Accelerator design system which was created for internal EPAM products. But to be honest, currently our design system used not only for internal products but external ones. Um, so everyone can take the UI for their own products. And we have a lot of stuff in Figma and GitHub also. But I will show you everything that exists at the moment in Figma. All the files, libraries, how they are interconnected with each other, what is in each file, what is exist for, how we work, and so on. I'm going to break this down into several videos, and today I will generally talk about the spaces that currently exist in Figma. One note before you start, all these files can easily be found by EPAM employees, and if these EPAM employees added in EPAM Figma theme, be aware of it. Yes, if you are not a EPAM employee, you also can have access currently to our UUI components library. It is published on Figma community. You can find it there and use it for your own projects. Actually, let's start. And the main theme in Figma is UUI library theme. This theme, as I said previously, available for every designer. And the given number of files and libraries are present here. I will talk about them in more details a bit later, and all these files and libraries are accessible for every designer, and to every designer who is added to EPAM Figma theme. And this means every designer can find it and view these files. The designers has only view rights. But if you want to become a contributor, um, you will be granted with edit rights per needed files. Let's move to another space. It is our internal space, UUI sandbox. Only UUI contributors and UUI librarians have access to this theme. Normally, we work on components, patterns, on some researches, on presentations for our main library and main theme. We do work here in this space, and also um, 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 sometimes we also work in different spaces, sometimes directly in the UUI components library, just to speed up the process and show the process for our entire users, for designers. Um, Also, you can find here one additional grid lines library. It is created to support our main library, main UI components library. But details will be shared a bit later. So it is our internal hidden for normal designers space. UUI pattern sandbox, this is our third theme. It is opened for every designer with edit rights. Talking about violet previews files, every designer can edit these files. We made this sandbox open for everyone to combine, to collect all products in one space, to see, to have a look at the similar patterns from different projects, and then analyze it, for example, uh, um, and make this pattern official UI pattern and publish it in UI components or on a specific file. So this is the main purpose. The second one, every designer can come to this space and to have an inspiration for their own tasks for designers projects. But um, um, if we'll talk about file in the CN preview, this file available only in a view mode, and it was created because we have limited size of our patterns file, but I will give you details about it a bit later. And the second, I mean the last one theme, it is UI snapshots. This space was created to make a historical changes of our UI components main library for some specific needs, such as have a look how it was created previously, like historical changes, or to make ability to find some pointed JSON file at some time period. Yeah, this is only for UI components file, because in this file we built our variables design structure and system. All right, this is our main themes, and let's come back to UI library theme, and we'll find the getting started file. I have already opened it. Here we have two library structures. I want to walk through them and give a bit more details about each file from our themes. And the first one, I would say this scheme, this library structure was created for onboarding purposes. For example, some designers joined internal products, and during onboarding session I will show this structure and explains from which file to start learning UI, and to which one have a look a bit later. Yeah, this one for examples. The second theme is more about how UI libraries connected between each other, to understand the hidden relationships. All right, I will scroll it a bit. I will zoom it, and yeah, everything all starts from UI components library. This is our main library, where you can find our main components: buttons, data tables, tags, inputs, etc., etc. Also, variables and all necessary styles are located here, such as colors, typography, shadows, borders, sizes, and so on. Also have to mention we have currently 4 themes that are placed in this library, and you can find these titles here, yeah, like Love Light, Love Dark, Chroma, and Electric One. So it means that variables placed here, its colors, its fonts, sizes, gradients, and not only ones. Um, and talking about themes, I would say electric one is currently considered at the most relevant, but Love Ship Light is also relevant. I would say it's a more seasoned theme. Electric is the newer one. What else in this file? Of course, main library principles. What does it mean? It's like palette, colors, principles. Yeah. Tokens again. The principles of tokens, some naming convention, which tokens used, etc., etc. Our DEMS principles, typography, elevations, the surfaces, and other design system like main information about it. Also, there are some component descriptions, naturally some examples of using our components in the application, but aren't so many due to restrictions in one Figma file size. I would say these are rather minimal examples aimed to show and how quickly collect some component state or component view for product needs, and also some spaces for testing purposes. Here in this file we test all these 4 themes, like visual testing. Go to another file. I would say it's next file which a designer should learn when you start working with UI. It's grid lines file. One firstly must understand that all examples in this file based on our love shape theme, but they are also can be applied to all themes, to love shape dark, to electric, and promo. Here we have descriptions, a more detailed, in-depth description of the component, specifications for them, for components, and guidelines for their use in a broader sense, with do's and don'ts, with recommendations, with usage tutorials, with examples. For instance, how to use, in which case to use a badge, in which case to use a tag, because they are pretty similar in our system, and not only in our. I would say here exist like more detailed guidelines for components than in UUI components file. All right. One small remark here, it is outdated. Why it's outdated? Because we haven't updated this file to the latest UUI components version for quite a long time. And there might be outdated styles, outdated components version. It means components can miss some newest variants, properties, Figma latest features based on updates, etc., etc. However, I would say the grid lines themselves, in a principle, should be current in 19% of the cases. Good. A bit below we have the crossroad leading to 2 branches. It's assets and patterns. Let's go to assets. This is kind of also main library. It can be installed and connected to a project, just like the component library. And here, first and foremost, we have icons and logotypes. Accordingly, these icons and logotypes are used to link to the UI components library. In the components, for example, in the button component, we have properties like left icon or right icon, and if you turn on it, you will see instance swap for icons which are taken from this library. The same approach for logo types, for example, for main navigation for header, when normally are logo placed. You can find instance of property for logo type. Good. Additionally, there are some guidelines for assets here. Such guidelines include the overall principles of our icons, how to build them correctly if an icon is suddenly missing from the assets, and also grids for icons and for logotypes are present here. All this stuff you can take it as a basis and build something of your own. Move on. And additionally, from assets, there is three libraries: illustration, skills, and data viz. Illustrations, it's like branded illustrations placed here in the components. And we can, for example, add this library and build some specific illustration from a couple of components, using some spare parts of images in the necessary project file. And it must be said why is also here outdated. There are two reasons of it. First one, it's because we created new theme. Creating new theme, it's electric one, and it differs quite significantly in terms of colors, color palette, and minorly stylistically. Therefore, there is a need easy to recolor or of the current illustrations so that the assets suit the electric theme, or generally perhaps maybe to revise our illustrations and make them suitable for the electric theme. Also, second reason is we didn't move to variables there. So here you can find only styles, not variables. Next one is skills library. It's component battery library was created to support the battery pattern. This is most often used in our projects like level up or learn or assessment, and so on, everywhere where you need to see an employee skill, where it needed to be shown. It's also outdated, same reason as for previous one, we didn't move it to variables. And there is also one small note. It was created primarily not by us, but I mean not by UUI library. UUI we rather reviewed the process of creation this library. All right, data viz. The last one, assets library. Additional one, it's contains several components of our charts. Several, I would say, finished components. And mainly here placed examples of components, and I would say for the further development of this library, it is currently weakly supported and require naturally improvements and participation in its development. Good. Let's come back to our crossroad and to the right branch. This is pattern file. In short, here we have examples of patterns with more detailed specifications, how the pattern works, guidelines, examples of more complex organisms when we compare it to the guidelines file, to this one. For example, data tables, for example, filtering, sorting, some finished widgets specific for EPAM internal products you can find here. Also some complex layouts, navigation, examples of navigation, and so on. This is file. It can be found in our Figma in UUI library theme. Just to make sure you didn't forget. Alright, moving forward, there are left two files here, pattern sandbox and data table. Yeah, because it's only one right now, and our site, I mean web application. So let's speak about this file with wild preview. It is pattern sandbox, as I said previously. Every designer, it is accessible for every designer. So the designers of UUI library can ask all projects to bring their examples of a search chain pattern in this file. Yeah, for example, carousel or card listing pattern. Yeah, for example. And based on it, this file can include components, some project screens, project examples, also analysis process, and prototypes can be here. Previously, I said that we are working on a sandbox file, which are hidden from normal designers, and only librarians can work here, and contributors. From time to time, we can do some work right in the UI components library. Yeah, if you are working for component, for example. Yeah, and we also can work in our UI pattern sandbox file. Also for the same purposes like for UI components, we want to show for every designer like process of analysis and of development, and discuss it on our on our meetings, yeah, with designers, and like make it visible for everyone. All right, what also I can say here? Maybe like sometimes our results of work can be moved from this file to your components or to pattern. Sometimes it can be left here like without any like fast development. Good. Data table. This is specific example of this file, yeah, with CN preview. We did it with like to put and collect official UI pattern, because violet ones normally not official, yeah. CN one, that means that it was approved by UUI library, and it also was created in our React framework, I mean built in code. And when we have huge amount of patterns specific for one specifically for one organism, for example for data tables, yeah, in this case we put all these examples, all this stuff in one file. Yeah, and here you can find some clickable demos, some examples, some screens, and also additional grid lines. Yeah. If yeah, and a bit more examples. It's here you can find some editable tables, like tables in a view mode, tables with filtering, with, for example, with horizontal filtering, tables with vertical filtering, table column settings functionality, also table with Gantt chart, etc., etc. All right, and the last one, um, unified UI. This is like our name of our design system, and designer also like it's welcome when designer come to our UI.epam.com website. It also has a lot of interesting and helpful stuff like documentation per components. Yeah, for example, and some also documentation can has some examples. And property explorer, this is um, kind of storybook when you can like set some specific view and see how it looks like. Yeah, with some additional details. Also, you can test it. Yeah, just to see all color variants here, etc., etc. All right. Let's move to next structure. Yeah. This was like most likely for designer onboarding process. This one is like how our main library is connected, and here we have one hidden from normal designers library. It is guidelines library, yeah, for our public libraries and files, and there we place all variables for components, guidelines, and testing sections. Because we have UUI in UI components, we have 4 themes, and each theme we are testing here in this file. And for this purpose, we should somehow organize the space for this testing area. And also we have in this file there is some sections for main principles, and all these sections should use the variables from guidelines library just to separate these two like different purposes, because UI variables created for products, and but guidelines library variables created for sections in UI components. Also, in this library we built like our library cards, library covers. This one, our overview component widget, and also some additional stuff placed here. And all instances from this library you can find in this in our UI components library. First of all, on the right side you will see SS library. I have mentioned already that SS library used in our components in UI component library. Yeah, like example with button and instance swap of icons. And also SS library uses variables from UI components, yes, specifically for icon colors, for logotype colors, and so on. And then all these libraries and files below, yeah, mainly used components from this UI components library and SS also. Guys, I think this is it for this video. Thank you for your time. Hope it was interesting for you, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.